It is said that by 2050, world population will increase substantially. Right now, our numbers range around 7 billion people. By 2050, it is projected to be around 9 billion. About 70% of these 9 billion will be inhabiting the urban landscape. These cities will not only have to be groundbreaking, but they will be built to face the ongoing housing crisis. This is why, as of now, the world's most reputed specialists are designing and building cities in order to take us safely into the future. These are the cities of the future. 1. Luzhu Forest City, China. A true model city for the future of the planet. Luzhu Forest City, China's first vertical forest city, has been under construction since 2020. Designed by Italian architect Stefano Boeri, the creator of the vertical forest in Milan, the forest city will work as a sustainable element in China, able to absorb tons of CO2, producing oxygen while battling the smog-affected regions of the mountainous south, who have been suffering the consequences of overpopulation and air pollution for generations. As its name suggests, it is a city where everything will be covered with trees and plants. The minimalist design buildings will be able to draw geothermal energy for its own heating and cooling system. Solar panels will be installed on rooftops to gather renewable energy. The entire city will be connected through a fast rail line and a road set up exclusively for the use of electric-powered cars. It will house several residential areas, commercial spaces, recreational facilities, public services, 2 schools, and a hospital. China has already commissioned several vertical forest areas in its territory in order to absorb carbon dioxide emissions from the mainland. These forest cities will also create natural noise barriers, protect biodiversity, decrease temperatures, and improve air quality altogether. There's already a population of 500 people living in Luzhu Forest City, but it will house over 30,000 people, 40,000 trees, and thousands of plants of different species. 2. Net City, China. Tencent, China's main technology company, has always been an investor in new gadgets and plans for the near future. Net City could prove to be their most important work. The concept lies in the fact that most cities operate around automobile traffic. Net City will prioritize logistics regarding people and environment. Net City's goal is to eliminate cars completely, centering its effort on a green corridor designed only for buses, pedestrians, bikes, and autonomous vehicles. The scale, height, and spacing of buildings will provide ample sight to natural spaces and the waterfront, which will be an integral component to the city. This city is currently being constructed in a 2 million square meter of an empty landfill in the province of Shenzhen. Developed by American company NBBJ, it will be a sustainable, futuristic city that will completely serve innovation, ecological self-sufficiency, education, and professionalism. It will primarily serve as a hub for Tencent's employees. There will be sky gardens, grass-covered rooftops, solar panels, and wastewater capturing systems. Exteriors will be filled with smart sensors to control the environment and public transport, which will be implemented by train, subway, several bridges, and an outgoing highway. Green power will provide for the entire energy demand of the city. Most of the spaces will be meant for human interaction: residential areas, malls and stores, recreational zones, natural parks and tree lines, schools, business areas, entertainment zones, and ample spaces where exercising will be specially stimulated, as it increases the productivity and health of the employees. Tencent has already announced that they expect the city to start functioning by early 2027. 3. Chengdu Future City, China. It started as an expansion of Chengdu City, but it quickly became more than that. Construction on Chengdu Future City began in 2021 by German studios GMP and the Dutch firm OMA. It is a sustainable, car-free district that focuses on the site's natural topography and geography for its development. The vast valleys and mountains of Chengdu will be preserved, enhanced, and shaped in order to create and maximize space. New smart buildings will be clustered into the hills to populate the skyline, and everything will be connected through bridges and small corridors that will also be sculpted around the natural topography. The city is planned to be the home of ample-minded, dedicated professionals attracted to innovation, and will emphasize on the existence of universities, laboratories, offices, workshops, libraries, and learning residences. An entire building will be dedicated for the sole use of research and innovation in food and agriculture. Chengdu Future City will be divided into 6 sectors sectors: the government cluster, the public cluster, the market cluster, the laboratory cluster, the university cluster, and the living cluster. These car-free clusters will all be connected by trains and smart mobility networks for automated vehicles. As with other green cities planned by the government of China, Chengdu Future City aims for sustainable energy while integrating it completely into an urban, technocratic development. 4. Woven City, Japan. Toyota Motor Corporation, the giant Japanese automobile manufacturer, has been transitioning from the automotive park to a mobility and robotics company for years now. Their implementation of smart houses in Japan has already borne positive fruits. Woven City gets its name regarding the concept of a city inside another city, made of interwoven streets that also establish a transportation pattern. One street dedicated to automated driving, another street to pedestrians, and the last one for personal mobility vehicles. It started construction in 2021 in the foothills of Mount Fuji at the Susano City's former Toyota plant, empty terrain of 175 acres. The study and testing of technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, smart mobility, and automated driving will be the main mission of this community. Special emphasis will be made in robotics for day-to-day tasks and home appliances. At first, Woven City will house 360 people that will most likely consist of researchers, Toyota employees, and elderly people. They will get to experiment, test, and develop these advances and appliances for real-world usage. Their inputs will contribute to the future residents that aspire to be of at least 2,000 people. Danish architect Bjarke Ingels, creator of the Lego House of California, spearheads the design, and part of the plans are to energize the city with a hydrogen fuel cell system, fully integrated with the ecosystem. Roofs will be covered in solar panels, and wood will be the primary construction material for houses. 5. Amara TV, India. India has a plan to fight their constant overpopulation. By 2050, 843 million people are expected to live in urban areas. The solution? A nationwide plan to build 100 smart cities by 2030. Some of them will be new cities constructed from scratch, and some older existing cities will be upgraded with modern technology. Such is the case of Amara TV, the new capital and administrative city of India. Set on the banks of the river Krishna, this historic city and its monuments will be preserved while transitioning towards modernity and the automation age. The whole city will grow around a needle-top government building, and more than 60% of the territory will be occupied by greenery and water in order to make Amara TV one of the most sustainable cities in the world. Transportation will consist of electric vehicles, metro rails, buses powered by electricity or clean fuel, cycling and pedestrian routes, and water taxis, as its waterfront measures around 27 kilometers. There will be no electric wires or overhead mobile towers. In fact, the city plans to implement India's latest technology, the conversion of light into electricity through photovoltaics, all of it stored in an underground power grid. India's government claims to develop Amara TV with the citizens' happiness as its main concern. Inhabitants of Amara TV will enjoy 100% Wi-Fi signal at all times, plus affordable housing plans. 6. Maldives Floating City, the Maldives Indian Ocean. Maldivian government has known for a while that climate change will make the sea levels rise and completely swallow more than 80% of the country by 2050. Therefore, the Maldives Floating City was conceived. The first floating city of the world will house around 20,000 people by 2027, and it will follow the design of the brain corals that can be found underwater. This completely eco-friendly project will provide the sea level rise problem with a practical solution. The science of it is simple. The construction of around 5,000 floating structures attached to a hexagonal built-in system that'll float as the seas rise. The town's idiosyncrasies will follow native customs of the Maldives by enhancing marine life and preserving the ecosystem through the use of sustainable technologies. The city will be located inside a ring of barrier islands that will serve as breakers, as well as the coral formations which will be preserved as a natural defense of the island and the structural stabilization for housing. This project is a joint joint venture between the Maldivian government and Dutch developers Dutch Docklands, with design from architecture firm Water Studio, which have already built floating parks, floating dairy farms, and floating offices in the Netherlands. The city will be designed to be attractive for inhabitants and tourists alike, following Caribbean-style rainbow-colored homes with balconies, porticos, and seafront views. The first units will be completed this year, and the first residents will be located in 2024. 7. New Taipei City, Taiwan. Taiwan is a country that lives in the future today. Its flag project is New Taipei City, built around the capital city and has become the preferred space to make business in Taiwan. The technology industry is quite active, attracting and concentrating a considerable amount of workforce, employment, and opportunities in New Taipei City. This is why the region has been transitioning to becoming a smart city since early 2016. The city's government has achieved it by rewarding practices in urban sustainability and citizen participation. Their energy policy is guided by the Net Zero 2050 goals, where all carbon emissions will be down to zero. Smart cities need smart citizens as much as technology and robotics. This is why New Taipei City's citizen culture has made it the city of the future. For instance, there is an app for pollution prevention that provides citizens the ability to report any kind of pollution they witness in any part of town. The city not only channels every government service via real-time apps, but smart mobility is already in practice. Sensors and smart infrastructure are currently being implemented in the streets, starting to monitor real-time traffic situations and offering citizens alternatives to avoid traffic jams. These same monitors and sensors have also been useful in crime tracking, contributing to the town's integral security and police activities. New Taipei City expects to be one of the leading smart cities in the world and a symbol of the transition to the future. 8. Nusantara, Indonesia. Recent studies have concluded that some areas in Indonesia will be completely underwater by 2050. One of these areas involves Jakarta, Indonesia's present capital city. In order to seize their future and plan accordingly, Indonesia's government has implemented its project since 2019. A new planned city, Nusantara, the new capital city of Indonesia, strictly conceived towards relieving the pressures of overcrowding, pollution, and the progressive sinking of the present capital, Jakarta. $33 billion will be spent on this new metropolis, and the relocation of the capital will take decades to complete. Construction started in 2022, and the plan is to set the inauguration in 2024. Towering high skyscrapers will use 100% renewable energy. There will be lots of green spaces, as the city will be surrounded by jungle and rainforest where the eucalyptus tree is inherent to the ecosystem. Mobility will consist of short distances, where public transport, cycling, and walking will be the norm. A metro system of 2 rail lines, autonomous minibuses, and a bus rapid transit system will be the means of transportation, as most destinations are located 15 minutes away from the residential zones. Nusantara will focus on the livability, adequate infrastructure, and thriving economic environment, as Indonesia's economy is rapidly growing. 9. New administrative capital, Egypt. A very similar case occurs with Egypt's new capital city. Yet to be named, it is referred to at the moment simply as the New Administrative Capital, or NAC. As one of the greatest capitals in the world for its historical relevance, Cairo is quickly becoming chaotic and unmanageable. Located 45 kilometers east of Cairo, the NAC has been under construction since 2015. It will house embassies, government agencies, the parliament, 30 ministries, a presidential compound, all operational by 2022. Besides 21 residential districts, the city will also harbor a central park, artificial lakes, stadiums, educational institutions, churches, hospitals, a new airport, 90 square kilometers of solar energy farms, an electric railway, a monorail, just another megacity from the future. Egypt's new smart city will be one of the most technologically advanced ones. Construction alone is reported to cost around $45 billion, and it will host 6.5 million people in a smart and sustainable environment by 2050. The whole business center is distributed around a signature skyscraper, the iconic tower, Africa's tallest skyscraper with a height of 393.8 meters. The NAC hopes to be completely sustainable by 2050. Every rooftop in the residential district will have solar panels installed. The city will also implement smart waste management, organic recycling facilities, smart climate metering, smart irrigation, irrigation systems, and new water treatment plants. The first phase of this city began construction in 2019. The energy plan has proven effective as the solar panels contribute 10 megawatts of electricity to the government buildings in Egypt's new capital city. 10. Eco-Atlantic City, Nigeria. Nigerian economic development has been unstoppable in recent years. The trend is that it will continue to become one of the top 20 economies of the world. On top of 11 million square meters of claimed land on the Atlantic Ocean, a man-made terrain, Eco-Atlantic City, will serve as the future financial capital of Africa. It will be an urban hub for commercial, residential, and also tourist accommodations, all built under modern environmental standards. The development will also serve to assist Lagos commercial activities as Nigeria is one of the largest producers of oil in the world. But this city will also serve towards the ecological needs of Nigeria, as it will be surrounded by an 8-kilometer-long seawall mostly made out of rock in order to protect Eco City and neighboring territories of the dangers of erosion and also provide defenses for any incoming high tides. Eco City promises to be entirely powered by renewable energy, as it will exploit the everlasting amount of sunlight in the region. Its skyscrapers will be equipped with solar panels installed in the rooftops and retractable windows that'll gather solar power as well. The residential areas are planned to be powered by hydro energy. New buildings have been completed since 2020, and it is projected that residents will amount to 250,000 and a steady flow of 150,000 yearly tourists. 11. Diamniadio Lake City, Senegal. Senegal is another African country that's been experiencing steady economic growth. The discovery of raw materials like oil and gas have potentiated its economy and hunger for progress in recent years. Dakar, the country's capital, has started to pay the price of overpopulation. So, the government's alternative to fight it has been the construction of this planned city that will alleviate Dakar's carbon footprint. Diamniadio City will extend for over 1,644 hectares, and it will be structured in 3 zones: the financial district, offices, universities, ministries, and hotels; the residential zone with houses, stores, cafeterias, supermarkets, and the entertainment district with malls, fashion shops, libraries, and theaters. Its architecture will be styled as contemporary mixed with abstractionism, using African-influence arabesques and futuristic curves in its buildings. These will be built with glass, iron, copper, and concrete. Following the sustainable model, buildings will have green gardens on the roof and be powered by renewable energy. The Train Express Regional, or TER, will be an electric train that'll operate regionally and exclusively for this urban conglomerate. A new smart expressway is also currently in construction. It will connect the city with Dakar in 32 kilometers, reducing the normal travel time from 90 minutes to 30. 12. Neom, aka The Line, Saudi Arabia. Strictly out of a sci-fi movie, The Line refers to a linear settlement of a group of buildings forming a straight line. The most unconventional and futuristic planned smart future city is being built in Neom, Tabuk province. The encapsulated structure covers an entire city built on a desertic land that stretches out towards the Red Sea, as it elevates 500 meters above sea level in order to fully enjoy nature without getting to impact it directly. As oil reserves of Saudi Arabia are among the highest in the world, the idea of a sustainable covered city comes up as a sustainable remedy. A city with no roads, cars, or carbon emissions, all powered by renewable energy, using a high-speed rail as the main mode of transportation. It is said to accommodate 9 million people in vertical layered homes, skyscrapers, public parks, and schools. It will be completely ecological, with open fields and natural spaces, and self-sufficient, as it will implement vertical farming, greenhouses, cloud seeding, water desalination, and robotic urban developments. This will revolutionize Saudi Arabia's entire existence, as the country currently imports about 80% of its foods. Weather control will provide an ideal climate all year round. This metropolis will extend 170 kilometers, and it will have a width of only 200 meters. The city will be organized by 2 parallel 500-meter-high linear skyscrapers, standing 200 meters apart from each other. The Line is the pet project of Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman and the face of Saudi Vision 2030, a plan to diversify Saudi Arabia and lessen its dependency on fossil fuels. 13. The Orbit, Canada. The Orbit is Canada's answer to future smart cities. Located in the small town of Innisfil, its concept revolves around a smart, technocratic society where the community as a whole prioritizes environmental environmental sustainability, the arts, transit, social interaction, health and wellness, modern economy, modern agriculture, advanced manufacturing, all framed into a thriving new energy culture. It is the role model for suburban development. The town is organized around circular neighborhoods designed to respond to a massive arrival of human transit that connects to downtown Toronto. The Orbit, a transformed rural town, will unite small town and rural lifestyles, all enhanced by the benefits of sustainable urban living, while preserving natural landscapes, agricultural lands, forests, natural trails, and historical buildings. The quote smart transformation will combine it with a fiber optics network, autonomous vehicles, and drone ports. This fiber optic network will provide connectivity across sidewalks, streets, and buildings where all traffic interaction will be monitored. Architecture firm Partisans claim that the town's idea is influenced by the Garden City movement of the early 20th century that advocates towards the union of urban and agrarian life. In the outskirts, agrarian activities and open areas will be protected at all times. Transit will feature driverless vehicles and ride-sharing, pedestrian and cycling routes. A new Metrolink station called Go Transit will unite public and free transportation and link Toronto to the town. The Orbit stretches out to 40 million square feet, and it is designed to house around 150,000 people in the future. As Canada's population will grow 55% by 2050, this alternative to urban living will certainly have the lead. 14. Telosa, United States. A city planned for utopia. Telos's name is derived from the Greek word telos, which means purpose. American billionaire Mark Law is spearheading this effort to create the sustainable city that will, quote, set the global standard for urban living. Though it will be built somewhere in the American West Desert, Telosa aims to house a population of 5 million people by the year 2050. It will be the epitome of the 15-minute city, where every essential human need, such as employment, food, education, social activities, leisure, and nature spaces will be close to home. Environment will always be a priority, so fossil fuel vehicles won't be allowed. Electric cars, scooters, bicycles, and walkability will be stimulated, as well as slow-moving autonomous vehicles. The beacon of the city will be a massive skyscraper, dubbed the Equitism Tower. It will house a massive water storage space, aeroponic farms, and a photovoltaic roof. City parks and greeneries will be carefully managed as reservoirs for storing water and renewable energy, and will also provide for persistent open spaces for all inhabitants. Waste will be stored underground, and every building will serve as a vertical garden with wood as the main building material. Their philosophical and economical system will be equitism, an inclusive scheme in which citizens have a stake in their land and can have a say in the city's decision-making process. Some of the revenue from citizens will be invested directly into the city's public services. Their leaders have narrowed down that its final location could be in Nevada, Utah, or Arizona, all of them desertic areas. By 2030, it is predicted that a group of 50,000 people will be the first residents of Telosa. 15. Starbase, aka Starship, Texas, USA. Elon Musk, SpaceX and Tesla's main man, plans the construction of a new smart city in the desertic lands of Boca Chica, Texas. Starbase gets its name precisely for being one of SpaceX's launching sites and prototype laboratories. Since Musk does not seem to back off on his innovative efforts, another city of the future has been born. At first, it will house employees and the people that work on launching sites in the whole area, as SpaceX has been transforming the entire territory of Boca Chica and surrounding areas of the southern Texas coast into a conglomerate for annual launches for missions to the moon and Mars. Starbase hosts a gigantic, never-before-built rocket by the name of Starship, which is selected as the lunar lander in NASA's Artemis program and a future vessel to Mars missions. Many say Starbase City will actually be a rehearsal for Musk's living quarters in a terraformed planet. For all of these options, efficiency will be priority number one. Renewable power and tunneling will be the core of the city's functionality. Connectivity and energy power won't be an issue for Starbase, as everything will be organized around the launching site, which will be in plain sight for spectators and tourists to witness regular rocket blastoffs. It is believed that by 2050, Starbase will be the departure point for commercial trips to space in the world. There will be no streets, roads, or traffic. An underground network with autonomous electric vehicles will transport everyone. These tunnels will be the only way in and out of the city, as it will also function as a security element if any disaster arises during a rocket launch. 16. Smart Forest City, Mexico. Another future smart city from the mind of Stefano Boeri, Mexico's first smart city is currently being planned amid the most sought-after tourist site in the country, Cancun. It isn't any news that tourist locations leave an important ecological impact wherever they are. Cancun isn't an exception for this. That is why architects, urbanists, and designers are proposing these kinds of projects in order to balance the human footprint within nature. The Smart Forest City's objective is to balance green spaces and renewable energy sources by creating self-sufficient cities. It will be completely surrounded by a ring of solar panels and an underground irrigation system that will allow the city to water in a renewable method. The forest city will contain 7.5 million plants of 400 different species, all hand-picked by landscape artist Laura Gatti. The forest city will be able to absorb 116,000 tons of carbon dioxide every year. The design of the city features a nurtured, innovative park, as it will facilitate spaces for universities, organizations, labs, and development companies that will research into more sustainable methods for the planet's future. Transportation will demand that all fuel-powered cars will be left outside of the city, as mobility will be exclusively electric. A new transportation system has been proposed as a chain mobility method, completely powered by electric photovoltaic energy that will function within city limits. This smart forest city will be able to host up to 130,000 people inside 557 hectares, and it will implement and educate the world on how eco-friendly tourist activity can be applied. 17. Helsinki Bunker City, Finland. It is said that Finland is the happiest country of them all, one of the reasons being that their quality of life spurs out of mutual respect and honesty between its citizens and environment, which results in an enriched quality of life. But in Helsinki's future plans, warfare is a big element for its city planning. With the threat of Russia's military powers frowning at every neighboring country that desires to join NATO, Finland has been building and populating its underground city, ready to resist any attack. Almost every big structure in Finland is required to have their own bunker underneath. In Helsinki's underground, you will find a complex system of more than 5,000 bomb shelters, able to withstand nuclear, chemical, and ray attacks, extending all under the city surface. This underground system is capable of housing 900,000 people, and it's already being used for gyms, pool facilities, children's playgrounds, subways, and numerous tunnel communication systems. Automatization and sensor technology will not only prevent the citizens from incoming attacks, but for natural disasters as well. A conflict with Russia seems to be a reality in the near future. The war with Ukraine has taught them that much. These underground spaces are not the only defensive efforts of the Nordic country. Finland has been raising a big army, training its men and implementing mandatory recruitment. Every man, woman, or child is being taught to act accordingly when an attack begins. Dystopian reality is also part of future city planning. We hope you've enjoyed this small leap into the future. As technology continues to expand, our future continuously changes, so every option is available for our future cities. Day after day, new projects for future cities are created, so by any means, the items in this list are just the tip of the iceberg.